2005 USGP is probably one of the most controversial and embarrassing races to take place in not just Formula One but motorsport history. Picture this, it's 2005 and Formula One is racing in Indianapolis, and they are desperately trying to break into the American market. The tire war between Bridgestone and Michelin is well and strong, well until Austria. Friday practice, Ricardo Zonta's left rear Michelin tire failed on turn 13, but this didn't really make any noise. It wasn't until FP2 when Ralf Schumacher, driving for Toyota with Michelin tires, crashes due to a left rear tire failure. Ralf actually suffered from a Michelin tire failure at the 2004 USGP on the same turn, which led to serious injuries, so it's safe to say that 2004 was a precursor to 2005. After Ralf's crash, Michelin determined that the tires they supplied would not be able to withstand the high-speed corner, and that out of the 73 laps, they could only guarantee 10 safe laps with their tires. According to Paul Stoddard, the team principal of Minardi's scathing personal accounts of the events, all team principals were present at a Sunday meeting, aside from one particular team principal, Jean Todt, team principal of Ferrari, a team that was using Bridgestone tires and a team that was having a terrible season. So during this meeting, they discussed various options as to how they could have all the teams race. However, the only viable option that could work was to request the Bridgestone teams to allow chicane to be constructed on turn 13. However, when Bernie Ecclestone went to go present this to Jean Todt and Max Mosley, the FIA president, who was not present at the meeting, it was rejected. Todt said that this issue was not a Ferrari problem, and Max Mosley outright refused to have the chicane built. But why was this so controversial? I mean, the issue of the Michelin tire should have just never happened, period. It was evident that the three Bridgestone teams would be racing, and Paul Stoddard was adamant that he was not happy about this, but because Jordan, their rivals, were the other team with Bridgestone tires, Minardi had no choice but to race as well. Then we have the issue of all 20 cars making their way to the grid and doing a formation lap. However, once the formation lap was completed, all Michelin teams went back to the pit and only 6 cars remained. The drivers were unhappy, the spectators were severely unhappy, and the presenters were just baffled as to what they were witnessing. You had the 2 Ferraris who you knew were going to be fast, they were going to be competitive, and they were going to be on the podium, and then you had the 4 slower cars with the Minardi and Jordan behind them. So it was essentially just a waste of money for the spectators, and they showed it by booing, leaving the race, and some were even throwing bottles on the track, which is not the safest thing to do. Don't do that. The FIA and Max Mosley were mostly under fire, and while the FIA justified their reasons for not allowing the chicane to be built due to safety reasons, they then summoned the 7 Michelin teams for a hearing to explain their failure to participate, and then charged the teams with violating Article 151C of the International Sporting Code, which was then overturned once it was brought to their attention that had the Michelin teams competed, they could have potentially faced criminal charges under Indiana state law for knowingly putting others at risk, even if no accident occurred. This was really and truly just a humiliating moment for Formula One, and one of the most unserious Formula One races, and just races in motorsport history.